she could see Mrs. Hall. She could see that all her furniture, it was behaving like, out of the world. The chair of her mother, it charged at her, and the hat of this Griffin, it struck her face, and then the chair was, moving. All these things happened there, with which she was very worried. And then all of them, all the neighbors, they thought that it is, everything which was happening there, it is actually all because of the witchcraft and all that. But suddenly Griffin appears from his room. Till then he was nowhere, but when he appears, and then everybody thought that it is the work of Griffin. But Griffin, as I told you, he was ill-tempered. He behaved them like he behaves. And then it was decided that the constable will be brought there, namely Jaffers. And he comes, he was brought there, and he was told about the whole episode. Then he tried to, capture the man without head. He was shocked that what he was going to do. He was going to capture a man without head. And when he tried to, catch him, uh, Griffin at that time started taking off the clothes one by one, and he started becoming invisible. His whole body started becoming invisible at the time. And when he took off all the clothes, he became, wholly and solely invisible. Nobody could see him, and he could slap everybody from here and there. And everybody there in the house was, they were shocked that what is happening. When the constable made last attempt, he blew him off, and then he fell unconscious. Constable. This is how this story, it ends. Now it was all about the summary of the footprints without feet. Now, if we look at the characters of the this story, this chapter, we have Mr. Griffin, scientist. We have Mrs. Hall. We have Constable, Mr. Jaffers, and we discussed a little bit about them. Talking about Griffin, he was a scientist. He was a brilliant scientist. He could manage to be invisible after discovering that drug, but he, actually misused that drug, which he could use for the welfare of the society, welfare of the nation. But instead of that, he misused it for his own purpose, for his own interest. He started, he started harming people. He started, irritating people with that particular discovery. Mrs. Hall could get the money. That's why when he paid her advance, she was happy with that. In that chilly season, she was happy with that money. That's why she was ready to offer him those rooms. But ultimately, when the episode of furniture happened, she was also you know worried about everything which was happening there. And Mr. Jaffers, he was also knocked down by Griffin. That he was not happy there. He tried to capture him, but could not. Actually, the point is that we want to discuss. I want to discuss with you certain things that there is a discussion point. That do you think that Mr. Griffin misused his discovery at that time? This is the point to to discuss something about it. If we can say that now, I would not like to put my things, in your mind. You should have your own opinion about it. But if you ask me that whether he misused that discovery, of course, yes, he misused his discovery. As we know, he could do anything with that particular discovery. He could do anything for the welfare of the society, which he was not able to do. He used it for his own purpose. He used it for his own purpose. Okay, he wanted to grab the money, he wanted to steal the money, and he stole it. He wanted to have the clothes, and in an illegal manner. He wanted to go into the shops, go into the theatrical company, go into the inn, and then behave as he likes to behave. And he did everything. He did everything for himself, nothing for the society, nothing for the society. So it is clear for me that he misused his discovery. He misused. There is not a single glimpse. There is not a single hint of something like that. He's going to offer that discovery to the government of his country, to the society. He wanted the government of his country, the nation, know about his discovery so that it could be it could be used properly by the nation. He did not do that, but instead he used it for his own personal benefit. We all know that he was. You can say he was. We can say that he was a brilliant scientist. He was a brilliant scientist, but he was not a noble one because he misused that discovery. We know this particular thing, and the second thing is, which is asked to us, which can be asked, or the point of discussion. Have you watched a science fiction movie? Discuss it with your classmates. So it has to be discussed with your classmates by you, whether you have watched it or not. I don't know whether you have watched a science movie or not. Like we read here, I have watched one of its kind, like Mr. India, in my childhood. How he behaved, that with that particular watch with which he could become invisible. You can see that, and you have to discuss it with your friends, whether you have watched any such movie, any science fiction movie or not. It has to be discussed. Okay, this is so the theme of this particular lesson is what? The misuse of science for me. The misuse of science. It has very